welcome to Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
Well, you are both looking awfully sleepy this morning, sisters.
And I'm feeling it.
Or should I say this afternoon, because it is now past noon.
I mean, I've had some coffee. I'm doing all right. You know, it was a late night for both of us.
Uh-huh.
So Riley introduced us to a new television, well, not YouTube series.
YouTube series.
Can you call that a TV show?
It's not on, I mean, I guess you could get it on your TV. It's not designed for TV.
Right.
I don't think it would look very good on TV.
I don't think it would look very good on TV.
I'm not going to, I still would have said TV. I guess it's not a TV show. A new YouTube series. Justin actually forced me, like, because of that conversation, you telling us about it, he forced me to upgrade to YouTube Red. He took my phone from me and then handed it back to me and said, you now have it. You have to have it. Please stop watching ads. You're killing me.
Yes.
And
well, you can't watch the episodes without YouTube Red, even with ads, though, right? Like, it's completely paid for content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for the first episode. Like, the first episode, like, tries to draw you in. Like, ooh, buy YouTube Red so you can see the rest.
Yeah, I do.
No, he just wanted me to quit watching ads when I was showing Charlie weird videos.
Yeah.
So
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what, Riley, do you want to give the audience a premise of this wonderful show?
So, have you all ever wanted to watch a bunch of 20 to 30-year-old, probably not that smart YouTubers solve a bunch of escape rooms while playing characters and also trapped in, like, the 1800s? The answer is yes.
I think they're trapped in the 1920s.
The 1920s.
Yeah.
The second one.
It all runs together.
The second one
like
is
5 years in the
yeah.
past.
The second one is later, I think.
Yeah,
the first
it is.
season, the 1920s.
Uh-huh.
The answer is yes, you have. So you want to watch Escape the Night on YouTube, hosted by Joey Graceffa.
Riley told me about this, and at first I thought, well, why would I ever watch this thing? Because I don't watch any YouTubes, so I don't know. Like, I literally do not know anyone on the show. I've never heard their names. I don't recognize their faces. I don't know anything, and like there's jokes, I guess, about who they are and what they do, and I don't understand any of it. I don't get it. Justin recognized like 2 of them. Mm-hmm. But that is not a barrier. You would think it would be.
It is not.
It is not a barrier. It's hilarious watching these people try to solve these puzzles, and then they also get fake killed off periodically.
Yeah.
Not real. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Well, there's always an odd mix when someone does get killed off of people that are committing to this character dying, and other people that are like, okay, you lost the game, whatever.
I love
it's very strange.
I love one of the first scenes where they have I won't give away who's I don't want to spoil anything, but they have somebody who's slowly dying of poison, and they have to solve puzzles to try to stop it. And so some people are like frantically running from room to room trying to solve these puzzles, and they're just so into it. And then there's a shot of this one girl standing there like in a flapper outfit, because they're all dressed 1920s, just like munching on a bread, like a dinner roll, just like like looking around the room like, this is weird.
Well, and you can kind of tell the person that's dying of poison, like they're acting like, oh no, they're dying, but then like, oh, I'm still dying. Yeah, I'm still dying. You guys suck. It's just like,
Please, I don't want to leave the show yet.
I've run out of like odd sounds. Just get it over with.
Also, there are like 2 steps that way, and you'll find the one key you need. That's literally all you need to do this. Why is it taking you so long?
Well, that's the thing. Like, we've done a lot of escape rooms, and they can be really challenging. This show, these are escape rooms light. Like, half the time you're just like following them, like, oh, why don't you get what you're supposed to do? That word is just backwards. It's just a word backwards. Like, just to figure it out.
My favorite is at some point in the second season, this doesn't give anything away, they're trying to solve one of the first puzzles, and they find a bookmark that has a 4-letter word on it. And like they're looking at it, and they're like, I wonder what this could be. And then like 20 seconds later, they find a little like cipher thing, like Da Vinci Code type thing, where you have to put in a word, and it's only 4 letters long. And they're like, what word could this be? And they're like running around trying to find words. And I'm like, guys, you just found a 4-letter word right there.
That's the only thing that I will say it's a double-edged sword. As much as Justin and I were enjoying watching these people flounder and try to solve these puzzles, and you're going, why can't you figure this out? And it's very funny. On the other side, there's the nerd part of me who's like, come on. It's
right
so
there.
obvious. Like, I'm getting frustrated. Like, I just need to be there. I could show you all how to do this in like 5 seconds. I'm very good at escape rooms.
So Escape the Night, season 3, Sydney McElroy. Dr. Sydney McElroy would make an excellent guest.
Yes.
I think so. I think we need Smurl McElroy
Escape the Night.
Escape the Night.
What would be your monikers? Because every character gets like a moniker. There's like the gangster, or like the heiress.
I mean, I think I'm just the doctor,
doctor.
right?
Yeah.
Does that make
It's
me
boring.
just the teen?
The teen, yeah.
No,
You're
but
the
you gotta think of like something cool and like period. Like I want to be the bootlegger.
Well, then
I work with Al Capone. I bring in bathtub gin. Crazy lady.
I
don't
could
know
just-
what accent is.
following those rules, I could just be the Sawbones, and then I would also just be a shameless plug for my other
There
podcast
you go.
constantly.
I like that.
What does that make me?
I think you're still just the teen.
Just the teen?
I don't think they had teenagers in the olden days. I think that's a new concept.
You would be the half adult, the
The half adult?
the ingenue.
there you
There
go.
you go.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of other members of our family. We'll have to figure all this
We'll
out.
figure all that out at some point.
If anybody has suggestions?
You know, splurging on a YouTube series or marathoning some sort of Netflix programming is one way that you could kind of treat yourself.
2011.
Yeah,
Treat
exactly.
yourself.
Treat yourself. And perhaps be practicing self-care, wouldn't you say?
Great job, Sid.
I mean, I get that that's the transition to the topic, but I think what we did last night is closer to self-harm.
Yeah.
Or at least self-dumbing.
I don't know. I felt very good after now I will say this because I'm much older than you two. Not so much, I guess, Taylor, like physically.
Much older than me. Okay.
But spiritually, I think I'm very old. We watched 3 episodes and almost fell asleep and had to go to bed.
They're like
so,
20 minutes apiece.
well,
That's
Yeah,
like
it's
1
fast.
hour.
spiritually quite old. But yeah, I think that marathoning a program like that you enjoy, that brings you laughter, and it helped me relax so much that I went to sleep. So
There you go.
there you go. I think that's a form of self-care.
Yeah.
Oh, I would agree with that. I feel like when the most recent season of Orange is the New Black came out, like I reserved a day and I waited for that day and I had like some snacks and like drinks ready to go. I'm like, I'm not going to leave my bed. I'm going to get through this. This is my day.
Yep.
And I think it's interesting because the idea of self-care, while it is it's a very prominent kind of concept. I think most people know what we mean when we say that now. Applying that to a teenager when Taylor and I were younger, when we were growing up, would, I think, have been kind of absurd. I don't think people would have understood that as something that teenagers would, know how to do or anything. I mean, I certainly don't ever remember thinking like, I need to pamper myself. I've had a rough week. I need to do something to kind of like take care of my physical or mental well-being. Like, I don't ever remember having those thoughts when I was younger. As an adult, I have had those thoughts, but it was very much something that I don't think applied to us.
No. Well, I think like we've talked about this before. I think there was even, Sydney and I, we were both serious students. We were both like focused young adults. Like the idea of like pausing to sort of take care of yourself almost seems counterintuitive to trying to be successful for what I felt growing up. Like there was pride to be had in not taking care of yourself, like you were committed to what you were doing. If you hadn't done your laundry in a month and like, never stopped to like, I don't know, like get your hair done or whatever.
Exactly. It almost seemed like something to brag about. Like, well, I don't make time for those kinds of things because I'm too busy balancing my perfect grades and my perfect extracurricular list of activities that I complete, and I have my leadership positions here, and then there's my community service, and like that's the kind of person I thought for certain colleges wanted. So that was the kind of person I wanted to present myself as, was I would never take time for myself. I'm too busy doing all the things I need to do to become the best citizen or whatever. I don't know, whatever that was. Whatever I was going for.
When that
I worked
citizenship
on this
award.
drawing for 24 hours and all I've had is 3 balls. That was an old energy drink in our day.
I feel like now it's almost like maybe me somewhat and other teens or other members of my generation have realized that like you can't really do all those things to the best of your abilities if you're not taking care of yourself also. So like I can't be the best student and continue to get all my work done if I'm getting 2 hours of sleep a night. I should probably take some time to maybe take a weekend where I don't make myself wake up at a certain time, which, you know, I do that all summer. That's my 2-month-long self-care. But I mean, like, if I spend a whole evening and do nothing but work and I'm super stressed out and I go to bed and I haven't done anything but like barely make time for dinner and take a 2-minute shower and do a bunch of homework, I'm just going to wake up the next day and feel exhausted and not going to feel like I can do anything at school the next day. So it's important to like, I don't know, either take time just to like take an extra long shower, or like for me sometimes it's like I'm gonna shave my legs because I haven't had time to in the shower all week, so I'm gonna take that extra 10 minutes and I'm gonna shave my legs, or like listen to some music, or when I go to bed I'm gonna like put on a face mask or something, like just something that helps me like wind down because I know I can't do my best if I don't.
Does a face mask help you wind down?
It makes me feel like I'm taking care of myself.
Okay.
Like I put it on and I just feel relaxed. Like it makes me feel like, yeah, I'm relaxed and I can just let this soak in for
I've
20
never
minutes.
used one in my entire life, so I don't know.
The ones that you can paint on and leave on for like an hour, I just like leave those on and just lay there like this is me taking care of myself, but also taking a quick nap.
I don't know what the deal is though with those like creepy sheet masks that have like, I get that they have faces printed on them, but the faces never adhere to your face in a not horrifying nightmare fuel way.
You got me some emoji ones for Christmas. You got me 4 of them, and I used one, and it was very terrifying to look at in the mirror. But I still have 3 left, and I've been saving them for when the 3 of us are together, that we all have to wear them at the same time.
That will be my first foray into this world of masks.
No, it's terrible. They make you look like somebody who's about to go a purging or something.
Exactly.
I don't like that. I don't see how that would be like soothing to myself.
But you know, we'll take a picture of those masks on and it'll end up on the gram.
Oh, we gotta gram that.
Gotta gram that.
I guess that's one aspect of self-care that I'm sure, I mean, I know people did, like the idea of getting a manicure or a facial, or
as you're saying this, you seem like you're like looking for it. Like, what?
I am. I'm trying to think about those. It's just never, and part of it is not because of my age. Part of it is not, I mean, like there were people my age who had manicures who went and got their nails. Like it's not like that's, I don't know, that's a new thing. Part of it is just who I am as a person. That was never something that I was interested in, but it just wasn't something like, there was a concept of, well, let kids be kids still, you know, just because you're a teenager doesn't mean, and we expect things of you doesn't mean like you have to work nonstop. We do expect you to be a kid, but it was never in the pursuit of like caring for yourself. It was like cut loose a little bit. Be a child for a couple hours because someday you won't get to. Yeah. Someday you'll look back on these days and remember how great they were, and you know, they're the best days of your life, and you're going to realize when you're an adult that you missed out on all these good times and you're going to regret that. And so like, go have a little fun, but then get right back to work. But I don't ever remember it being couched in the idea of, and also take care of yourself because that matters.
For me, it's like, I don't know, when you're in the end of high school, maybe college, I'm not there yet, but the habits you establish when it comes to like working or studying or how you manage your time kind of carry through into when you become an adult at first. So it's like how I've been, I don't know, managing my time through high school is probably how I'll start doing things in college until I learn a new way to do it. If you don't start making time when you start making habits for yourself to take care of yourself, then it's like you'll never find that time where you can. So it's easy to start when you're a teenager because you probably have more free time than you will when you're in college or when you have a job or when you're an adult. So if you start making that time when you're a teenager, then you'll have that habit in mind to start looking for that time when you're an adult, which you might need to look for it more so than you do when you're a teenager and you have more free time.
Sure. I mean, I think that's true. And I think definitely you could make the case that, and I mean, I don't think this is necessarily only our country where this is true. I think there are probably certainly other places in the world where this is true, but I do think this is an American problem as well, where we put so much stress on that idea of like success and performance and pushing yourself to your limits constantly and depriving yourself of fun and relaxation in pursuit of whatever that goal is, whatever you decide it is for yourself, that we make ourselves sick. I mean, I know for me that transitioned into a college experience where I vacillated between like weeks on end where I didn't sleep well, I didn't eat well, I wasn't exercising. I was studying nonstop, I was doing papers, I was nonstop, and then I'd want to blow off steam by going to a big party or something and like cutting loose for a night, and then I'd go back into that kind of nonstop working kind of thing. And I would say that was probably my pattern all through like med school and residency, was just like put your head down and keep barreling forward. And it doesn't matter if you've been holding it for the last 8 hours. Like if there's no time to pee, don't pee. And who cares how hungry you are? And when you do get a chance to eat, like if the only thing that's in front of you is a pizza, eat the whole pizza and move forward. And why are you taking time to exercise? There's no productivity in that. Like who are you helping with that? Like go take care of people. And I think that probably carried me through many, many years of lack of sleep and unhealthy eating and not taking care of my body and being totally overstressed and overworked until I finally had to like hit a breaking point where I said, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
I need to slow down.
But didn't you feel that doing that was proving yourself in your career choice? Because I know, like, in art school, that was definitely the feeling. Like, if you're not, like, sleep deprived and eating garbage food and staying up all night, then you're not committed to this. Like, I think that's an idea that needs to die. But I think your generation is doing a good job of that, Riley. But I think it was very much the feeling. Like, you know, it took me a long time to learn to slow down and, like, take time for myself. Like, that was something that I don't think I started doing until my, like, late 20s, actually letting myself understand that my personal well-being was just as important as my, like, financial and, like, I don't know, like work well-being.
Yeah. And you were talking about like needing to help other people, Sid. Like you're not helping anyone but yourself if you're working out. So you need to go do something that'll, you know, better the world around you or better people that aren't yourself. But like, again, you can't do anything for other people if you're not doing something for yourself, because if you're miserable and you're sleep deprived and you're hungry, you're not going to be in a great state to be like, here, let me come help you, because then you're just like, you know, angry and resentful of people who get enough sleep and who get to exercise.
Who get to wear face masks. Yeah. It's I understand what you're saying, and you're both right, and these are all I like logically my brain knows that these are all right, but it's hard because inside I still have that voice that says, well, I guess, yeah, if you're a wimp. Like, I mean, that's still, I know it's hard, and I'm saying that's wrong. I'm not justifying that, but that voice is in my head to this day, that if you stop to do something for yourself, you're not good, you're lazy, you're not good enough, you're not prioritizing appropriately.
Yeah. Right.
And there's got to be something better you could be doing with your time. I mean, and I think that to like before we started recording, Justin took Charlie to a movie, so I got to take a shower by myself with no like 2-year-old wanting to like hop in with mommy or peeking in on me every 10 seconds to see if I was done yet or whatever. So it was very luxurious. I took a shower and I shaved my legs, and that was a huge deal to be able to have the time to do that. And then as soon as I got done, I looked and I was like, well, the girls are going to be ready to record in about 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, I could have done so much more with this time. Why did I take the time to shave my legs? I could have started researching my next sawbones. I could have checked my tasks. I could have done, that was what was running through my head. Like, I can't believe I wasted the time shaving my legs when I could have done these other 10 things that I really should have done instead.
Well,
I think I was just gonna say, I think a lot of that mindset is the reason why the millennial generation, which I don't even think I'm a part of technically, but like I feel like is kind of the generation of people that surround me.
You're like the next, what, I don't know what's after that.
Z. Is it Generation Z?
you got the Z. That's it. You're the
I
last
think I
one.
got the Z.
You're the end of generations.
That's right.
I mean,
we talked about this before.
Yeah,
I am the
this
last
is
one.
Definitely
Yeah.
happening soon.
Yeah.
But because that's it's funny you bring up the whole millennial question because, and I've joked about it before that this article that came out that was like, oh, the reason that millennials can't buy houses is because they're eating avocado toast. It's like, well, that's interesting, but I think that there is a thought there that's actually, it's relevant, and that's that. And it's just something, like I was saying, that I've discovered later in life, but I've definitely embraced now, and definitely my friends have, and people that are younger than me have. It's like we would rather have a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of treating yourself on a semi-regular basis than to suffer for 10 to 15 to 20 years trying to achieve a goal that you might not even feasibly be able to get to. Like, it's almost like, the big goals are so outlandish in maybe the economic system that you're in that it makes more sense to enjoy your day. And I think it ultimately makes you a healthier person to have that little bit of enjoyment on a daily basis.
I think that's very true, because I think when I think about it, like from my perspective now as a parent, I think a very common feeling used to be that you had, if you decided to have kids, you did, and you hoped that they would have a better life than you did. And I think that now, I don't know that I've ever thought like, oh, I just hope Charlie has a better life than, like, because that makes it sound like my life really sucks. And it doesn't. I'm very lucky. I enjoy my life a great deal. Even when I'm working so hard that I make myself miserable, I'm still pretty lucky. I'm very happy. But what I think is, I want you to grow up and be happy and be strong and enjoy life and fulfill whatever your potential is, because I think that if you do live up to whatever your potential is, you're a more satisfied human, generally speaking, not for anybody else's benefit, but for her own. But those are the things I think, and it's never couched in, and I hope you make more money than I made, and I hope you have a bigger house than I had. I hope you have more cars, or I don't know, a nicer dog. And I really think that used to be the idea of success, was for like a parent, like that my kid will go on, I'll sacrifice and work so hard and be totally miserable so that my kid can have a good life. And instead I think, well, I want to have a good life so that I teach my kid how to have a good life and watch that happen.
Yeah.
And that's a big shift. That's not the quote unquote American dream from 50 years ago.
Well, and I mean, not to make it too deep, but I think it's not a shift, it's a reaction. I think, it's like, it's a direct counterpoint to what happened before, where we maybe, like a generation that grew up with parents that weren't fulfilled and weren't happy and did struggle. And ultimately, it's not like you got some big payoff that made that struggle worth it. So I think it's a direct reaction of this next generation being like, I'm gonna take a little time for myself. Like I'm gonna do things my way, and I'm gonna be okay with that. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. And I think we need to talk more about how you practice self-care other than face masks.
Right.
But before we do that,
Let's check the group message.
all right, sisters, on the group message this week, we have a sponsor to tell you all about.
Can I tell them about it?
Tell us about the sponsor.
This week, Still Buffering is supported in part by HelloFresh, who we've told you about before. I'm sure you're familiar with them. But if you're not, HelloFresh is a meal kit delivery service dedicated to making cooking fun, easy, and convenient.
And we can attest to that because we have all tried HelloFresh and made the meals, and they are fun, easy, and convenient. They're
All three.
super easy instructions to follow, and you can make delicious things like chicken sausage pizzas with broiled zucchini and fresh oregano, or maybe some sweet potato chorizo patties with tomato salsa and lime crema.
Ooh. Well, and I'm a big fan of the Veggie Box option. They're loaded with beautiful fresh produce and like really interesting but super easy, flavorful recipes. This week they've got a chickpea powered
Mediterranean couscous. They've got a sweet potato sunshine salad with avocado. They've got a tortellini salad. The veggie box is awesome.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, these all sound wonderful.
Uh,
So how can they get them?
Yeah. Well, each week, HelloFresh creates new delicious recipes with step-by-step instructions, super easy to follow, that only take like 30 minutes for everyone from novices, like teen cooks, to seasoned home cooks, like adults. Or maybe really smart teen cooks, not like myself. All for less than $10 a meal. And they're all delivered to your doorstep in a special insulated box for free.
So, for $30 off your first week of deliveries, visit HelloFresh.com and enter promo code STILLBuffering30. So, check it out now. $30 off your first week of deliveries.
That's crazy.
I know, it's a great deal. HelloFresh.com, promo code STILLBuffering30.
Do
It's
it.
30. Yeah.
Now back to the show. So, back to self-care. So, like I said, obviously we've talked about the importance of these creepy masks that you all wear that make you feel cared for. But when I think about like things that I would have done, I guess in a sense for me, self-care was always like time to read. I think that's probably when I feel the most like nurtured as a human. It was never much. I mean, as I've grown into an adult, I think what we're calling self-care, I've also just thought of as like maintaining my health. I put more emphasis on, I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes and make myself something good to eat now because I don't want to constantly be putting junk food in my body because like I have a whole life I want to lead and I have a kid to raise. So like I think about that and I think about getting physical activity and exercise so that my heart is healthy and my lungs are healthy and that my brain works even when I'm older and all that kind of stuff. But I think for me, like, I guess self-care when I was younger would have been mainly that, like taking the time to go read a book that I wasn't assigned for school to like go sit in my Papasan chair and chill.
That Papasan chair was self-care personified or
Right?
cherified.
I think so. I think it felt that way. It was like a nest. It was like a womb. It was so cozy.
Things like that I definitely think about whenever I'm talking about like during the summer I do a lot more of it just because like I don't have as much to do, especially now that theater's over. It's just like I'm not doing a whole lot. But I also during the school year I'll think about like trying to save myself future stress is kind of a way I'll do some self-care, if you will. So like if I have an assignment that was assigned today on like a Monday and it's due on Friday, I won't necessarily start on it and get it all done in one day and tell myself like if you don't get this all done then you're just going to be working on it later, so get it all done now, because you also have other things to do that are due the next day. But I'll be like, let's start on this and like do it for 10 minutes, and if I don't get a lot done that's fine, and if I get some done then good. And I think setting a schedule for myself almost at the beginning of the week through bullet journaling and keeping a calendar, which I do both of, it keeps you more organized, and then you have a plan for the week so you don't stress yourself out when you get to something at the last minute you completely forgot about.
Well, that's interesting because you're aligning responsibilities and self-care, whereas I think what Sydney and I were saying is they were directly opposite for us.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. That's,
Yeah. I think it's become more of a mindset, not a thing to where like you're being selfish if you do it. So take like 15 minutes of your day and just let yourself be selfish and not worry about other things, as kind of like a lifestyle choice, if you will. Like I want to choose that I want to take care of myself with all of the time that I can. So if that means I'm going to take the time out of my Sunday to set a plan for myself for how I'm going to do everything for the rest of my week, then that's what I'll do. And if I'm going to like keep a little journal with me so I can write down things I don't want to forget later, or I can decide a plan I'm going to tackle an assignment so I'm not stressed out later, then I'll do it. It's kind of just finding a way to manage everything in your life that is happy for you and doesn't stress you out.
That surprises me because I would have assumed your first thing would have been mentioning scented candles.
I mean, yes, that as well. I have a lot of candles. Also, you can find ones that are scented that aren't real candles, that are battery operated, that have changing light colors in them, and that also smell like vanilla as soon as you turn them on. And that's great for when I want to burn some candles while I'm doing a lot of work, because I don't have to worry about like burning the house down by burning a candle for 6 hours.
Do you feel like that brings you peace or energy or
Well, think about it. Like
something?
you're like
Peaceful energy.
I don't know. I'm reaching here.
Well, when you're like, okay, when you're sitting down to do something you don't want to do in the first place. So like you have to do a work assignment or something for school. Like I have a lot of summer reading to do. I have to start on. I don't want to do it, but I want to make it as enjoyable as it can be. So to do that, you kind of have to make the environment around yourself somewhere you want to be so that you don't mind while doing it as much. I mean, think about it. Like that's why like people read on the beach. That's why when we go to the beach before school starts, I'll bring my summer reading books with me because I'm somewhere I want to be so I can read them on the beach and I don't mind to. So when I'm at home, like I clean my room before I start doing assignments so I don't feel like I'm in some, gross room covered in clothes, and I light a candle or turn on some music in the background, and then it's like I like being here so I don't mind doing all this work as much and having to sit here and do it for 6 hours.
Yeah,
That's a fair point.
I mean, you're laughing, but if you think about it, I would rather sit in a room that is clean and smells nice and has some Hamilton playing in the background than I would in my room when it is covered in clothes and doesn't necessarily smell great, and is silent.
See, I understand what you're saying. It makes total sense. I don't think I've ever once thought I've got to get a lot of work done. Let me make my surroundings as enjoyable as possible first. I think I just dive in and do the work. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's interesting. I've never considered that.
Well, but this is interesting in the same way. It's like when we talked about self-care as a topic, I thought it was going to be all face masks and manicures. Like you're once again aligning like a responsibility, cleaning your room. It's not that it's a responsibility. It's something you have to do. It's good for you. And that's, I totally agree with that. Like when I have a big project to do, like if I don't have a clean space to work in, I can't work. Like it's just, I'm so much more productive if my house is clean, and I don't like, so I totally understand that. I just think that's super healthy that you're having that awareness of like, it's not something you're doing for somebody else. It's something you're doing for you, having a clean space.
Yeah.
What about things, I mean, I know that these things are popular now in general, but among your generation, like among younger people, things that we think of as like, I don't want to say like stereotypical, but like more typical relaxation, self-care things like yoga or meditation, those kinds of things that you like would fall into the realm largely of self-care. What is that popular, or those things that are
I mean, I don't take yoga just because like I'm 16. I feel like that's more of like an adult thing.
Well, that's what I'm
adult
asking,
classes
like,
here for yoga. I don't.
yeah.
I mean, but I have friends that do, and I'm sure there are people who are like around my age who do. But for me, that means like I'll take a bubble bath, and I'll put scented bubbles in it, and I'll play music, and I'll put on a face mask while I'm in the bubble bath, and I'll get a drink, and I'll just chill in there and like either read a book or just listen to music for half an hour.
Which is crazy to me because, like, I mean, yes, I guess now if I made the time to do something for myself, it would probably be that now as an adult. But it's really, it makes me think of that scene in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead when the joke is that she's a teenager, but she's pretending to be a grown-up and going to work at a fashion company. And so, like, it's very stressful. So she comes home from a hard day being a businesswoman, and she, like, gets in the bathtub and has, like, cucumbers on her eyes and is like, haha, look, she's a grown-up. Look, it's funny because she's stressed, because teenagers don't get stressed. So, it's so funny. But, like, that's the whole joke.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that before, not necessarily the cucumbers, but,
Is that gone away? Do you guys just get masks now instead of cucumbers?
Yeah. Masks are very popular. But the whole idea that teenagers aren't that stressed, like, I understand there are probably a lot more stressful places I could be in right now than where I am. I will probably be a lot more stressed than I am right now at some point in my adult life when I actually have, like, bigger responsibilities than, like, reading a book before the end of the summer. Like, I understand I'm not the most stressed out a person could be right now, and there are definitely people who are my age or younger or older that are more stressed out than I am. But again, I think it's like I was talking about earlier, it's establishing that kind of lifestyle or that habit of finding time to take care of yourself, that if you don't start doing it when you're younger, you never will. Because I have all this free time, like right now in the summer, so I'm, picking an hour in the evening that I'm like, this is just, I'm gonna chill in my room and put on a face mask and watch like Friends on Netflix. And that'll carry over into the school year. Maybe when I'm stressed out and have assignments going on, I'm like, you know, this was nice during the summer. I had an hour I could do this. I only have 20 minutes now, but it's the time I have. So I'm going to put on a face mask and watch an episode of Friends.
Sure.
Well, you know, I think that maybe something else that's happened, because I'm thinking like media presentations of these sort of things, like, you know, self-care. I said, don't you associate it more with like, this is something that you earn? Like, if you're a high power executive, then you also need to take a break for a manicure. Like, self-care comes after success. It's not a part of it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you completely. That, and it's still hard for me to get out of that mindset where I will think of like, man, the next few weeks are going to be busy. We have a lot of extra stuff to do in addition to my usual activities. So I won't let myself relax or do anything fun or enjoyable until that, like, whatever those several weeks are over. It's hard for me to break out of that mindset even now and stop and say, well, you know what? Every day matters. We're not promised any certain amount of time. So why would I write off weeks?
Right.
And I've spent years of my life writing off, like, well, I mean, especially when you're going through something like years and years of schooling. Well, this rotation sucks. I can't stand it, but it's fine. I'll just get through the next 2 months and then it'll be over. I'll just get through. It's fine. I'll just get through. And that mindset can really dig you into a hole. And I mean, I have fallen victim to that most of, I would say, my adult life. Not so much now, but it's still something I'm learning. I have not learned.
It's mental and it's physical. Like, coming up in like the food service industry, there was a point where I had a bar manager that was like, you know, you should get a massage like every month. Like, that's what I do. It keeps me like physically like in line. You should do that. And I just thought, that's insane for you to say to me. Like, at the time I was like a bar back. Like, I'm like, I will never deserve that. Maybe when I have your position. But it was actually like really sound advice, because it's like, you know, like I don't know if you guys have ever had a massage. The first massage I got was when I was like 29 years old.
Yeah.
And my masseuse was like, dear God, like you need like to be repaired. You need to do this frequently for a while, and then maybe you can get down to once a month, but you've got issues. Of course, I like never went back. I was like, I don't need to know that I can feel this good. It's bad for me to know that I can feel this good.
I know what you mean. My first one, Justin got it for me when I finished my first year of med school. It was like my reward for finishing my first year of med school.
4 years, one massage.
Yeah, I got a massage, and it was amazing. And I remember thinking, like, man, when I finish med school someday, or maybe residency, I'll let myself have another.
Which is weird, because it costs like as much as you would like spend at a dinner, but it just seems like, but this does nothing for me. It kind of does everything.
I mean, you were talking about like being rewarded after success with self-care, but like I personally, maybe this is just like different generation, different mindset, but I don't think I can ever be successful in all I want to do if I'm not like taking care of myself. Like, I don't see myself getting successful by like, you know, letting myself go a few weeks and not eating anything that's good for me, or like letting myself go a few weeks and not like shaving my legs, or taking time to like wash my hair every day.
What do you think? This is really interesting to me, because I think that what you're describing is not just you. I think that you're right.
Yeah.
You're talking about a generational shift, a paradigm shift. And I think that it could be a very interesting, like, it will, as it headbutts with the American, like, our idea of our workforce and our economy and how you progress in jobs. It could be very interesting because, you know, we kind of accept this notion that when you start in the working world, you will work very hard, very long hours. You will not get paid very much. You will not get vacation. You will not get any perks, you know. Yeah, I mean, yes, you could get things like maybe health insurance or a 401k or whatever, depending on what line of work you're in. But for the most part, you accept that you're going to spend many, many years working very hard and not getting much for it, thinking that eventually you'll earn your way up to getting those things. And my guess is that that's not the kind of workforce that you'd be interested in joining,
No.
or that other people in your generation are going to accept, that is not going to be acceptable to a whole new generation of Americans.
And even if it was, like, even if that was something I went into, I would also tell myself, like, I may not be getting out of this career wise for these few years, and I may be, not happy at my job or with all the work I have to do, but I'm going to come home and get a bath or, like go to sleep early. Like I'm going to make myself happy while I'm at home, and I'm going to take care of myself while I'm at home and not think about how much I'm miserable at work or how much work I have to do, because this is my home time and I need to take care of myself while I have time to. And then I'll go back to, doing work stuff when I have to.
Well, don't you think that's sort of the base? Because there's like a goofy amount of anger. Like you see these articles, they're like, millennials have killed department stores. Like millennials have ruined fast food. Like we've done so much. Like it's like there's so much anger directed towards the younger generations. Because it's like the people above us, the baby boomers, are like, our lives sucked for years and years. Now it's time for your life to suck. And then we're like, nah. No,
we're good.
No, it's very true. I see it specifically in medicine a lot, because I see these articles all the time complaining about young doctors want lives. I mean, that's really the complaint that they're leveraging at us is, in our day, being a physician was your life. You accepted that everything came second. Your family came second, your children, your friendships, your vacations, anything you want for yourself is second to this career. And so that means that you're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it used to be a point of pride. Like, well, I've come to work sick so many times. I haven't taken a sick day in 10 years. Like I haven't taken a vacation. I have so many vacation days, I'm losing them. I hear that all the time, actually, among my colleagues. Like, I'm losing vacation days at this point because I've accumulated so many, they won't let me accumulate anymore. That was a point of pride. And now you have physicians in my generation, and I would say I'm among them, who are saying, that's fine. I want to work hard when I'm here, but I also do want to take my vacation days. Mm-hmm. And I do want to know when I can expect to be off. Like, I'm not on call. I don't have to answer a phone call. I can go commit to being at my kid's birthday party, or I can commit to this beach vacation with my family, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You see this expectation, like, yes, being a doctor is vitally important to who I am, and I will commit to doing the best job I can, but I'm also Sydney, and I'm also a mom, and I'm a wife, and I'm a sister, and I'm a daughter, and I'm a friend, and I'm an individual human with wants and needs and desires, and I will pursue those. And that is a huge shift in medicine that's been like the cause of a lot of angry articles.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because I guess like putting it all on the line, like, so, you work for a bunch of years and you suffer, and then finally, and you eat poorly and you have stress and you don't take care of yourself. And then when you can finally afford maybe to take some time, you've probably like gathered so many like illnesses by then that you can afford to pay for them, I guess. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, there's that. And we also saddle you with so much debt,
right,
in this country. Mm-hmm. If you do pursue higher education. Yeah.
Like it does seem like it's just I'm glad that the younger generation seems to be sort of circumventing the system, because it's sort of a system that doesn't, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like a happy way to go through it, like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think the anger at this generation kind of comes from we may be seen as not as hard of workers, or we may be seen as not wanting to be as successful. But I think it's just a different kind of work and a different kind of success that we want to achieve. Like, we don't all necessarily want to be like, super successful career-wise until we're retirement age and then we get to be happy. Like, we all just want to be like happy people in general, and whatever success we find with our careers or with personal lives, like, that's different. But as long as we're happy, that's where we find success. And I think it's just a change, and people aren't happy with change sometimes. So they're like, I had to work this hard, why don't you? I wasn't happy, so you shouldn't be happy. Like, oh man, like, I'm just gonna chill and eat my avocado toast while you're working and paying for your house.
Well, that's like one of those and I'm gonna forget the philosopher's name, but there's like, an idea that there's some basic human needs that you need to have to function. But above that, every time you raise your like social standing, your happiness adjusts to what you have. So no matter how rich you get or how successful you get, your happiness will kind of maintain itself. It'll level out. Like, and all it does is really, it keeps you from going down below that. Because once you're like, well, I'm used to having an apartment to myself, now I can't go back. Well, I'm used to having a house, now I can't go back. But no matter what, like, your happiness is kind of the same once you establish a baseline of like contentment.
Yeah.
And you know, this idea that happiness should be something that we not only individually pursue, but that like as a society, as a, I mean, I don't know, a country, but you know what I mean? Like as a collective group of people, that we nurture, that we encourage, that we say, yes, it is okay. It is okay to pursue, because your happiness will help me increase my happiness, which is true. If we're all happier, I mean, that's a better thing. A society in which half of people, well, way more than half of people never get enough, and a very small percentage of people get more than enough constantly, is rarely a happy society, as we have seen. But other countries where they've kind of they've taken account of that, and they've said, you know what, our workers are happier and more productive, and our society is better when we give them vacation, when we let them stay home when they're sick. Not only do we let them, we encourage them to stay home when they're sick. We live, and I know this happens, we live in a society where if you're sick, yeah, you might have a sick day. This is true for me. I might have a sick day, but they don't want me to take it. I am expected not to take it. We celebrate employees who come to work sick.
That's crazy.
Because they put the needs of the company above their own health and safety. And I'm not saying these employees are bad. I'm saying we should tell people, no, go take care of yourself. It's okay. Stay home when you're sick. Get better. That's what you're supposed to do. And also you won't get anybody else sick too. But we have that all backwards. And when you look at places where we treat workers like humans, and we give them vacation and sick days and maternity leave and paternity leave, and in general nurture them as humans, they're happier. Everyone's more productive. The whole society's better off. Everybody has health care. Everybody has, you know, public education that's great, and higher education that's free. And you look at these places where where self-care is ingrained in the kind of political fabric of the nation, and people tend to have higher quality of life on average, as opposed to a place like here where only when you achieve the most do you get those things.
And I mean, I think the focus of older generations was maybe money, like getting as much money as possible. I can, you know, treat myself with all this money I'm earning when I'm older. I'm going to make all this money now. My kids are going to be fine. They're going to have better lives than I did because, you know, maybe my parents didn't have as much money, so I'm going to do that. But I was reading Outliers, and there was a graph in there. It's kind of like a bell curve of how much money you make annually and how happy you are. And it was like on the lower end of the scale, the happiness was lower. But then once you reach like a middle area of income, it's like your plateau of happiness. And then once you start getting more than that, it starts going down. It's like, just because you're earning more money doesn't mean you're going to be happier.
No.
Probably means you're not going to be as happy.
Well, that's the thing. Like money is it's a finite thing. Happiness is a renewable resource, guys. Like,
I want that on a t-shirt.
That's something that you can find personally and have a well of forever. Money you have to fight for with other people. It's an ugly thing. But when you shift your focus to happiness, that's a thing that you can mine for yourself forever.
So just think about that.
Happiness is a renewable resource. I want that on a shirt.
Go, guys.
Riley's going to get that on a t-shirt, and she's going to wear that t-shirt while she has a face mask on, and she's smelling her vanilla electronic candle or
And I'm
whatever it
watching
is.
Friends for the 10th time.
I'm watching Friends.
Wow. You know, but no, it makes me really happy that your generation is a little bit more, I don't want to say focused on themselves. I think approaching themselves with a more healthy mindset, because I do think that there's sort of a really nasty end game in effect right now with what we kind of see the American dream, this kind of nasty byproduct of working really hard for the wrong things and never like actually enjoying your life. Like, yes, break that system. Like, make all the old people mad. They can write all the articles about you they want. Like, be happy, please.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that if people who do feel angry and frustrated and resentful because they have worked for decades and they have not seen that return in terms of happiness, they feel like they're still like, you know, not getting what they want, but then they're looking at your generation and going, well, then why do you feel like you deserve it? Instead of feeling like you don't deserve it either, maybe the flip side of that is you both deserve that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what age you are, no matter what generation you're from, whether you believe it or not, you deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
And if society's not giving it to you, society's wrong. And, you know, let's ally together to change it. Let's not yell at each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fight the man. Ooh. That's the problem. Let's refocus our energy. It's the 1%, guys.
The man tells you not to eat avocado toast.
The man wants you to shop at Sears.
Invest in a
I guess, I
401k
don't
or whatever
know.
that is.
Well, no, okay. Now,
Okay. I
long-term retirement
I know,
investments
I know.
are not
All
like...
right, Sid.
I'll tell you about that when you're older, Tay.
yeah.
Spiritually old like me.
All right, but you don't need two kinds of blenders. Like, definitely not. They're going to tell you you do. You don't.
No, I don't think you need two kinds of blenders.
No.
Or like any blender.
You just need the magic bullet. It's a great
Just need the
infomercial. I
bullet.
highly recommend it. Well, this has been really interesting. Thank you both, sisters. I honestly thought, Riley, you were going to tell us about various candles that you enjoy and what your favorite masks were and bath salts.
Everyone
And-
already knows my favorite candle is Sweater Weather by Bath and Body Works. And I love all face masks. So
Mhm.
there you go.
Well, there you go. See, I really thought that's what we were going to talk about, so I'm very impressed, and I have been schooled.
Well, there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our show, everybody out there. If you like our show, if you enjoy it, you should take a moment to rate and review us on iTunes. That really helps us out. We appreciate that. So if you have a second and you're so inclined to, please do that. If you have any thoughts or suggestions or questions for our real life teenager,
That's me.
the ingenue, Riley Smurl, please email us at stillbuffering@maximumfun.org and ask those questions, and we will answer them. I mean, maybe. I can't promise that,
I mean,
but
like, probably.
probably we will. We'll try. And
Well, she will. We won't. We're not teenagers.
yeah, yeah,
I will.
exactly. We'll make Riley do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tweet at us at stillbuff. And if you like this show, you should check out MaximumFun.org. That's our parent company of podcasts. That's our family. Sort of like our parents.
Well, it's like our,
Our strange extended
it's like
family.
our mothership.
Our mothership
I like
of
that.
delightful podcast programming that you should check out immediately and listen to all the shows because they're great.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Novellas for our theme song, Baby Change Your Mind.
This has been Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
I am a teenager.
And
I
was two.
2. I would kill for some avocado toast right now.
Just go treat yourself. Do it.
Treat yourself.
You can use half the avocado for toast and the other half for a face mask. Done it. Just a little honey, a little oatmeal if you want it. Look up the recipe. It's got to be a pin somewhere.
Hello, and welcome to Podphone. What type of podcast are you looking for?
You have chosen funny podcasts about bad movies.
Rated R. May we recommend The Flophouse?
3 friends talk about bad movies and make each other and you laugh.
Rated R. The Flophouse is playing at your ears.
If you download it right now or whenever.
Rated R. To purchase tickets to The Flophouse, you don't need to do that, just download it. The Flophouse, rated R. For nudity, I guess.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.